Going into 2019, it's very clear that progressives have a lot of momentum, and what I'm really thankful for are the select few of congressional Democrats who are progressive, who are really fighting hard for policies that we care about. And one of those individuals is Pramila Jayapal, who is making it very clear that she is not going to let the issue of Medicare for All fall by the wayside. So as Peter Sullivan of The Hill reports, Representative Pramila Jayapal, a top progressive Democrat in the House, on Tuesday called for hearings and a vote on Medicare for All legislation now that her party has taken back the House. We are going to be pushing for it to get a hearing. To have this debate on the floor, Jayapal said on an organizing call with the National Nurses United Union on Tuesday night. Jayapal, who is co-chair of the Medicare for All caucus in the House, said it is not enough for Democrats to just say they are co-sponsors of Medicare for All. Now that Democrats have won back the House, she said, when we have that majority, we need to make sure that we put it to use. However, House Democratic leadership has not expressed a willingness to hold a vote on Medicare for All, and top leaders have not signed onto the legislation. Organizers from liberal groups led by National Nurses United said on the call that they are going to be organizing grassroots support, including phone calls targeting the 13 House Democrats on the key committees of Ways and Means and Energy and Commerce, who they said have not signed onto the bill yet. Senator Bernie Sanders, the idea's leading champion, also joined the call and called for massive grassroots support to push for Medicare for All. Jayapal told The Hill earlier Tuesday that she and other members of the Medicare for All caucus are working on a revised version of the legislation known as H.R. 676, which she hopes to come to an agreement on over the next month to be ready for introduction in the next session of Congress. Now, realistically speaking, if she accomplishes what she hopes to here, if they debate Medicare for All and they hold a vote on it, will this ultimately be signed into law? Well, even if it passes the House, no, because obviously it's not going to pass the Senate, and Donald Trump certainly wouldn't sign this into law. But what she's doing is still a really important first step to actually getting Medicare for All codified into law, because this is the process that is really going to help us down the line. In order for anything to pass, you need to build a coalition, you need to build a consensus, and you really need to get the momentum going, so that way when Democrats actually do take back the Senate, when they do take back the White House one day, they'll already have a lot of the groundwork put in. Now, additionally, another reason why this is important is because this is forcing Republicans to show their cards, have a vote on it, and make them expose themselves, make them vote against Medicare for All, so that way the American people know exactly where they stand. Once they hold a vote on it, what Pramila Jayapal and Bernie Sanders can do is they can say 70% of Americans, including 50% of Republicans, more than 50% of Republicans, support Medicare for All, and all of these House Republicans voted against Medicare for All. They voted against you and what you want. Now, additionally, this is great because it will expose corporate Democrats who are against Medicare for All and get them to also show their cards, so that way grassroots activists know who to target. Now, speaking about knowing who to target, they named key individuals, key players on the Ways and Means Committee, as well as the Energy and Commerce Committee, and they said that there were 13 Democrats. I want to take the time to tell you their names and their phone numbers, so that way we can actually give them a call and let them know that Medicare for All is something that we will not be backing down from. Those individuals include Lloyd Doggett. His phone number is 202-225-4865. John Larson, 202-225-2265. Ron Kind, 202-225-5506. Bill Pasquale, 202-225-5751. Terry Sewell, 202-225-2665. Susan Del Bene, 202-225-6311. Frank Pallone, 202-225-4671. Ben Ray Luan, 202-225-6190. Kurt Schrader, 202-225-5711. Joseph Kennedy III, 202-225-5931. Tony Cardenas, 202-225-6131. Raul Ruiz, 202-225-5330. And Scott Peters, 202-225-0508. Now, I don't want to undermine what National Nurses United is doing, because maybe it's the case that they have a script that they want you to follow, that they think will be most influential when you call your lawmakers. But look, I'm just going to call and kindly urge them to back Medicare for All. And the person who I'm going to be calling is Kurt Schrader, because he's from Oregon. Oregon is my state. He may not be my representative, but, you know, he is someone who I think I have the most influence over because I'm from his state. So his number is 202-225-5711. And I'm just going to make a really simple plea for him to co-sponsor HR 676 when it's reintroduced in 2019.
Hi, you've reached the office of Congressman Kurt Schrader. Our office is unable to answer the phone at this moment, so please leave a message for the congressman at the tone. Thanks, and have a great day.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Congressman Schrader. I noticed that you haven't co-sponsored HR 676, which is the Medicare for All bill, which would literally save lives and stop thousands of Americans from medical bankruptcy. So I just want to urge you to support that. It will be reintroduced in the next congressional session. Representative Jayapal will be reintroducing this, I believe. So I just want to kindly urge you to support HR 676. Or we're going to primary you and get someone in there who will. So thank you. Okay, I tried not to be rude or be a dick, but I just couldn't help myself. The fact that he hasn't is kind of absurd, but try to be polite, people. I'm terrible. I'm like that asshole boss that no matter what you do, you know, I always am like, well, why don't we strive a little bit higher next time? I can't, because at this point, Medicare for All, when you see all the momentum, if you're a Democrat and you haven't signed on to it, I've got no patience anymore for you. So be kind, don't do what I'm doing, and perhaps maybe it will be important for us to wait for National Nurses United, because I think just flooding all of these individuals, these 13 Democrats on these committees with calls at once will be more effective. So you don't have to call right away, but I just want to put their numbers out there, because I do think it's important that we start to kind of get the ball rolling and let them know what they can expect if they don't back Medicare for All. But getting back to Pramila Jayapal, she's someone who I respect perhaps more so than most people in Congress. You know, besides her and Ro Khanna and Raul Grijalva, they were the few that were actually standing up for the people, and I'm just glad that they have more allies in Congress now in, you know, Ocasio-Cortez and Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. I'm glad that they're going to have more allies in Congress who will help them push the envelope on this issue, because if lawmakers are hoping that we're eventually going to give up on Medicare for All, that's just not going to happen, because if we don't get Medicare for All now, we're never going to get it. I don't know that we've ever had this much momentum for Medicare for All, and with 70% of the country on our side, when we've won the debate, there's absolutely no reason to not push for this relentlessly. So we're not backing down, and this is something that lawmakers need to realize. And if they're not willing to support Medicare for All, then they may lose their jobs over this. It's that serious, because this is literally an issue that is life and death for some Americans. So if they're not with us, they're against us. It's that simple.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.